Hello, and welcome to Khyber Shards, a 5th edition actual play show set in the Eberron campaign world. It is Friday, and we are joined this fair Friday by Colin. What's up, buddy?
How we doing, my dude?
Doing good. So there are many questions, and several of them are trolling you about Pog's fear of fish people. Uh,
Yeah, definitely Pogs. Pogs fear of fish
I was gonna
for
say this
sure.
is a curiosity of mine. I was gonna ask, where did Pog's terror at the notion of there being underwater shark people derive? Is that a Colin thing, or was it just like an in the moment thing?
That was the first moment of playing in this format that I swiveled my head to the side and Googled what it was that you were talking about. And my initial reaction, I just went with that as Pogs of, oh my God. I don't like them. And so it just, made it a Pog thing. Because it would make sense to me that someone as earthbound historically as Pog had been would go, don't like that. Don't
Hmm.
don't like that. Especially learning about it while on a boat. Like imagine the first time you saw Jaws was on a yacht. You'd go, no, I don't think so. I kind of hate it out here.
uh, Laura inquired. I don't really think we can answer this because we don't have a format for that. Laura asked which picture of water people is your favorite.
Oh, I can answer that. Yeah, it's the one I don't have to see. I hate them. I don't want to see it. They're terrible.
There you go. One of invisible water people. That's
Yeah.
the one the Pog wants.
Yeah.
Uh, Emily likewise asks what your favorite type of shark is.
Hammerhead. I don't know. Like I, from a young age, it was just like, they're so different.
Mhm.
They're so cool. As I've gotten older, like tiger sharks are awesome. Great whites are undoubtedly rad, but like from a young age, the hammerhead is just so different. So hammerhead shark. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I would probably go
what's
tiger
yours?
shark.
Is it tiger?
I guess. They're neat. I don't know a lot about sharks. I probably know less about sharks than I did when I was a kid because I remember there was definitely a time where like Shark Week was awesome and everything like that. Um, but it wasn't an interest that stuck. So I don't know if I could name as many kinds of sharks today as I would have been able to when I was younger. But yeah, tiger shark.
I mean, I know those three in the Mako, and I feel like that's it.
Yeah.
The megalodon. That's my favorite shark.
There you go. The megalodon. Totally. Um, Laura asks, how did Pip feel about all those animals showing up at the manor?
I'm gonna say he felt great about it because it's the first time in Pip's life that the place that he lives is a safe haven. And like, not having had a home and then all of a sudden you live on Noah's Ark, like it feels awesome. It feels awesome. Like everybody's here. Where I live is a safe place. I'm a part of hero things. So, it was great. And he also didn't know why they were all there. So had he known that Shade was off controlling a rat army, he probably wouldn't have been as stoked. But fortunately, that conversation avoided him. So yeah, pretty great.
Awesome. Eric
I know
asks, right? That guy. How are you enjoying D&D, especially now that you are getting into the higher tiers of play where the characters have a lot more power and complexity? Related to that, are you still enjoying Pog mechanically?
I think I'm a bad D&D player, and that's why I'm still enjoying it so much. You guys have no idea how much of the last episode Philip had to cut out, because I discovered that for weeks of sessions now, I've been playing incorrectly, and we discussed this in Mia's watch party, because I was so dependent on using the digital character sheet.
Mm.
And so I'm still discovering, and it's kind of nerve-wracking, and I enjoy it. It makes every encounter really high stress, and it makes me go, I don't know how you guys are playing wizards. Like how are you guys having like sorcerer battles and stuff? Like I'm just trying to make sure that I remember to use a bonus action versus it's not the same as a reaction.
Right.
This last session, with no spoiler, like I had to make big decisions on what to do because I needed bonus actions critically, and
Mm.
so I'm really enjoying it. And am I enjoying Pog? Yes, because I still believe he is the perfect first long-term character for me. We've added in some more magic than I think you probably would encounter with a straightforward barbarian. And so I'm really enjoying adding small amounts of the complexity, and I think I'm learning the most from listening to the more experienced players get into characters that I just go, oh, you guys, y'all slots. Why do you have sorcery points? And
Right.
like this is all so much to me, and I'm just over here like, I learned how to recover HP from hit dice. So yeah, I'm having a blast with the game, and I'm having a blast with Pog. My only complaint is real life means that we play for short sessions, because I could absolutely run this game for a day, for a 6-hour power session.
That'd be awesome.
I'd love to binge play. Is that a thing? You binge play?
Yeah, absolutely.
that's what I want to do.
There's a thing I think would be really fun that some groups, like especially groups that have grown older and moved well apart from each other and just aren't able to schedule a regular session. Where I've heard of groups that will basically make an annual or quarterly or something, take a D&D weekend. And so you'll either gather at somebody's house or go to like a cabin somewhere.
I love it.
Or rent an Airbnb or a Vrbo or something, and you just set aside this weekend we game, and it's just play the campaign for as long as you can stand it, and then do other things.
We have a game shop here in town that doesn't just have the tables like you would normally see. They have a game room that you can rent for the day, and it's got this huge long oak grate table, but it has like an iPad with ambient sounds and fog machines and
awesome
LED lights to set the mood. And I just like, it looks so rad. They've got swords on the walls. Oh, it's so cool.
Dope.
I'm so about it.
That's really cool. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Eric also asks, are there other types of characters you would like to play in the future? Have you thought about other characters you would want to try out?
I haven't really so much. I think I'm really happy with the kind of character. It would be interesting to have taken him in almost just like a different elemental path, to continue playing. I guess if I were to make a big change, I would probably go down something more psychic related. Okay. Because even with the Echo, like, one of the limitations we ran into tonight for me is the fact that my knight doesn't even have mage hand. Like, I can't do anything from distance. There's no telepathy, no telekinesis. So playing with those kind of mechanics would be an interesting change. And I could probably still balance a character that would have those abilities while not being hyper intricate or overly complex for me. So that's probably the change I would make. Not to Pog, but to another character.
Yeah. You'd probably enjoy there's a psychic fighter subclass that gives you some fun little like small amounts of telekinesis that could probably be a lot of fun.
That sounds rad. Yeah.
Yeah. Eric continues, if you could make a wish list of things you'd like to see in a campaign that you're going to play in, what would it be?
I don't know, because this campaign, learning D&D has meant that I've learned how how much of what I had thought of it, and I mean before even listening to you guys play on Eberron Renewed, made me realize how much of it was just like tropes that don't necessarily hold true because of the inherent actual role playing. But I think some of those tropes that or the stereotypes that would be kind of fun. It'd be nice to have maybe not a campaign, but just a big sweeping epic overpowered one shot. I'd like to play as a level 18 for a few hours. You know? Tonight off camera, we're talking with RA about having watched a game where they were all level 20s and hopping worlds and fighting gods like that. That would be fun for a window, just to completely go into the power fantasy. It's like starting New Game Plus and lowering the difficulty, like I just want to be the strongest version of this. That would be fun for a time. Otherwise, it would probably be to do a full campaign of something like Blades in the Dark and make it very much a non-character focused experience. Play something that is very much just the action movie version. Not that I could see myself investing in those for long periods of time, because I love the quiet moments. I love the thoughtful improv of role play for the long term. So my actual dream campaign would be another one like what we're doing. This is great as a player.
And what is your idea of a happy ending for Pog? And how much has that changed since the start of the campaign?
Good question. Knowing what we know now about the size of the threat, I think a happy ending for Pog would be the kids and the rest of the strike force living through this. There's no intention to be a martyr, but that's his safety's never been his concern. Heroes always die. And so that's never been a fear or a concern for Pog. And how it's changed is because even though I still make jokes out of character about, the legacy of Pog, there's no longer the desire for him to have a statue. There's no longer only Colin wants Pog to have songs sung about him. Pog doesn't. We're doing something at the school that's shaping the future and changing people and giving, not to overfixate on my own characters, but is giving children like Pip stability and community that he didn't have and had to form on his own. So the happy ending would be those communities surviving what is impending.
Yeah.
Because we don't know the plan outside of destruction. I'm sure there's more subtlety to it. It's a Philip villain. There's going to be more nuance to it than I just want to see what it looks like if Stormreach was on fire. Like all of it. There's more to it for sure than that. And so for them to escape and survive.
Cool.
Together.
Emily trolls you by asking how Pog feels about the fish people.
How Pip feels about the fish
how Pip
people.
feels. That okay, maybe not trolling then. All right. Emily asked the very interesting and legitimate question. How does Pip feel about the Sahuagin?
Okay, so I'm assuming that that
both your names are 3 letters and start with a P, so
That's true. That's almost like I have a trope I'm developing myself here. I'm gonna say he's probably pretty interested by them. Being that they live in the water, they live in a lot of dark. He was a street kid. He's comfortable with the dark. Being a street kid, not a lot of experience with swimming. And so their incredible proficiency with moving through water in a way that he can't comprehend would probably be pretty fascinating. And if they follow any kind of fish tendencies, then they move in schools. So, they're probably not going to go kicking one person out. And so he'd be in favor of that. But with the picture that RA shared, I don't think anybody should be anything except terrified of them. You should just be frightened. That's horrifying.
Yeah. And Mia asks, are you hoping for Solarka to join the gang on an adventure at some point? And how do you think Pog would handle that?
Is Colin hoping? I mean, it'd be interesting. I would be interested to see how Pog handled that. Because there is a delicacy to the fact that Pog, having made decisions, left Solarka hurt. And so, I feel like there might be too much coddling that would potentially happen in a combat encounter, and defending her more than she needs. Because it's not that she means more than the Strike Force. It's that she means different than the Strike Force. And most of the Strike Force has died around Pog in some way or another. Like, they've gone down. They've been substantially hurt together. And that's a hard thing to imagine your partner going into. Yeah. She met Pog as an adventurer who was going to continue doing more and more of it. And they've worked through that with better communication, and her, not to overly speak for your character here, but to reach a comfortable point of acceptance of this is who he is going to be, and will continue growing into. And so for her to join on it, our adventures have not gotten safer. It'd be a very challenging time for someone to join us for the first time. So Colin would love to see it. Pog would probably not do great with it. I think it would put some strain on the relationship of her having to inform him she can handle herself.
Yeah. Cool. And then Mia also felt compelled to add something about fish people. Do you think Pog would be willing to try aversion therapy for his fishy fears?
I don't think Pog has a desire to do anything. He doesn't want to remember his fishy fears. Can we just stop talking about the fish people? There's so much water, and everything in the water is trying to kill us. It's so... I don't think he wants to try anything when it comes to them. Yeah. That's to be honest. They're horrifying.
You're not wrong. I mean, and the more lore you know about them, the more terrifying the Saugan are. You're
not going to develop them into a soft, accepting commune. Right. They're not going to be just a bunch of fantasy hippies that are like, no, just come down here because we're all vegetarian and we just like talking with the whales and whatnot. They're gross, man. They're terrifying.
I'll give you an example of the lore of the Saugan Empire. The Saugan Empire is built around these ancient primordial creatures that are sleeping on the bottom of the ocean floor. And each of these creatures is tied to one of the planes of existence. Oh. And so the Saugan have a city built up around each of them. And they harvest from them. The creatures have an incredibly rapid healing rate. And so the Saugan harvest food, and they use their blood and their flesh to produce magic and all sorts of things. These chunks of these creatures are to the Saugan what dragon shards are to everybody on the surface.
I hate it so much. And I hate it from the start of that explanation because I hate that it's an empire. At the bottom of the sea is a world that could take you to it, and you could die on the way there. You will die on the way there. They would have to actively choose for you to not die on the way there. Oh, it's so not. And does dark vision help if you're underwater? Like, is that normal darkness?
Yeah, I mean it would help.
That's even worse, I think, because then you would have to just see yourself being drugged to a sunken Atlantis while you're dying.
Mm.
I would so much rather slip into actual darkness. This is a horror. I am not sleeping tonight. this, this is awful, man.
Well, we'll switch to a cheerier topic. Emily has our last question, which is, Colin, would you rather Pog became a vampire or a were rat?
Vampire. Vampire. Not only because vampires are cooler, uh, Pog, I don't think would handle being a rat well. That would hurt Pog's feelings. there would be such a substantial insecurity based identity crisis around him becoming rat. It would not be good. It would do bad things to Pog's brain. That's not what we want Pog to become. I don't even know how I would play that, to be honest. Absolutely vampire. Because I also think it would be hilarious to have a vampire Pog size. Like, just
it'd be a very what we do in the shadows vampire.
Absolutely it would. Like, he would be hanging at those vampire nightclubs in there. He would 100% yell bat every time he transformed. Like, it would be hilarious to me because he'd be just a thundering oaf of a vampire. Like, can you imagine Pog just all of a sudden having the grace of a vampire? That's so funny to me. Moving silently. Oh, also the real interesting thing on a serious note that would be very interesting to play would be Pog does not like persuasion. Pog likes straightforward communication, and so I think Pog would accidentally charm people for a good period of time and then really struggle with that, because that was an issue for he and Ari that changed their relationship. He values honesty, and vampires are not exactly straightforward.
Not famously so.
Yeah. Plus, Pog wouldn't like to kill anything innocent, even to live. This is interesting.
True. Yeah.
Vamp Pog. This is going to be miserable.
As all good fictional vampires are.
That's true.
All right. Well, that is our last question. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your patience with missing a KSA last week. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can find links to all of our socials in the description down below. You can also find a link to Colin's Twitch, where he is sorry BTR, the O in that being a 0. New episodes of Khyber Shards drop every Monday. New Khyber Shards answers every Friday. And until next time, thanks for rolling with us.